Anyway, hate to be a little drum, but I just, I've been watching a couple of news articles this weekend and last night, and the country's really getting crazier and crazier. So, and I'm saying the same thing in hopes to get people's attention, because we need to have a united middle class. A united and healthy middle class creates a strong America. And you have to listen to who wants that to happen and has ways of making it happen. And then we need to vote people in and vote people out according to their strengths or weaknesses. And it's going to take some time to do, to get finally a handle over our political system, because we have no handle over this. And the founding fathers gave us this. We owe it to them. They weren't perfect people, but and they were elites, but they at least saw that this country, the middle class of this country, needs to run the important issues directed by our politicians. And just like you have a head of a company and you have the crew of a company, if that's not going right in a company, one or the other, that company goes out, right? Well, this country is much, obviously a whole different scenario, but it matches a bit, because we're on the way to communism right now, or socialism, and there's just no getting around that fact that either we come together and we pull together and we look out for our neighbors and we talk to each other and we do those things that our founding fathers gave us the freedom to do, or we don't have a society anymore. Anyway, we're going to start getting this down. I'm still working on some lighting. Barbie's moving to California, so she's going to be producer Barbie remote. But I think we might be able to get her on camera this way. So with all of that said, you guys have a great weekend. Say hi to each other. Go out and say hi to somebody. Just wave at them, man. Start that way. Just wave at them. Every time you see them, wave at them. You don't know them. And then you'll see the reaction change, evolve. You'll see the body language evolve. Go out and say hi to a couple of people today. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being here. Hi, I'm saying hi today. I'm getting my high end today. How are you folks, man? This is Rod Duff. I'm your host. Obviously, the show's Insights and Straight Talk. And that I was telling our guest today, Rocky, a little bit earlier, about looks like we have 2 or 3 people popping in already. Glad to see you here. Please subscribe and like the show. But I was telling him how that this particular intro video is God, it's a year and a half or so now. It's probably more than that, longer now. But it's funny how some things just still haven't changed, man. In fact, and that's what's so exciting about today's show. There's so much that I'm excited about today's show, and you guys know why, because you read the titles and you read the descriptions, and you guys are so smart about the things that you do. We got, looks like 30 people in already. But if you've been watching the show for any length of time, we talk a lot about leadership, right? Representation or the lack thereof, and how the people making decisions for us do not always seem to represent us. They're not representing us. We talk about how the great middle class needs a real voice, someone who can walk into the rooms where decisions are made and remind leaders what the real life looks like outside the bubble. Today's guest is one of the rare people who can walk through all those doors. We're talking about health and wellness. You and I talk about a lot health and wellness and how much that needs to be adjusted, worked on, improved. AI and diagnostics. I can't wait to fill that one out. A lot a lot of conversations AI here. I really like this whole AI diagnostics thing because I starting to get it all. Community and culture, and that's where it all begins. I mean, he can walk through all these doors and straight into the concourse of leadership from Washington to the local levels. And we all know that's where most politics are done, at the local level. Here's the bridge everyone talks about needing, but very few people ever become that. That's why today matters. The guest joining us is not a one-lane guy. He's not a stay-in-your-corner guy. He's not a pick one career and stick with it kind of guy. Today's guest is a one-man crossover episode between politics, biotech, culture, mentorship, and innovation. A walking Venn diagram of strategy, purpose, and get it done energy. So looking forward to it. Today we welcome Rocky. I blew it, Rocky. Rocky Haag. I told you I'm terrible with names. I have had a lot of people on this show that are smart. I'm not one of them, but I've had a lot of people that are smart and accomplished and full of insight. You know, I love this show, but Rocky's built different. He's built different, man. This is a man who went from knocking on doors and running campaigns to shaping legislation, to speaking on stages, to mentoring young leaders, to now working on the cutting edge of AI diagnostics. And you know what? That's what our entire world is now, cutting edge. The old world is not the AI world. Industrial revolution didn't move at the same speed as the AI and other AI, OI, diagnostics, epigenetics at Protean BioDiagnostics. In the middle of all that he's done, he earned a really good government award, flipped political races that were not supposed to flip, and built a reputation as a strategist who shows up with one mission: win the day. Some of you may wonder, hold on, Rod, hold on. A political strategist ends up helping lead innovation in cancer detection? What makes that a bridge? What makes that bridge what it looks like? But think about this community, our mission, us. Think about that mission, now his bridge. It's exactly why he's here. You see, the older I get, the more I realize this: skills transfer, conviction transfers, leadership transfers, and wisdom travels with you, man. If you can lead people in politics, you can lead people in biotech, right? If you can communicate a vision on a campaign trail, you can communicate a vision inside of a healthcare company. If you can bring a community together, you can build a culture that moves mountains. That is the Rocky Haag story. And that is what makes this show bigger than politics, bigger than diagnostics, and bigger than titles or resumes. This is about mission. When you meet somebody who has spent more than 20 years in both public and private arenas, somebody who has been in the rooms where real decisions are made, somebody who helps underdogs rise, somebody who understands how systems and people and power really work, you don't need to interview them. You need to learn from them. And today, we're going to learn. We're going to learn. We're going to explore how political strategy becomes biotech disruption, how mentorship creates ripple effects that last for years, and how AI and diagnostics and telehealth are reshaping the future of early detection, how a values-driven leader operates in a world that's losing its grip on values, and how the purpose and faith and grit can shape a career that looks like 5 careers stacked together seamlessly. Let me make this personal, okay? What I respect most about Rocky is this. He does not chase attention. He chases impact. He's not selling buzzwords. He's building real solutions. And the stakes he is working with are not political wins. The stakes he is working with are not political wins. The stakes are human lives. And I want our audience to see that today. We live in a country where half the voices are yelling. The other half are freaking exhausted. And most people in the middle are just trying to figure out who is actually doing the work or any work for us at all. Rocky Haag is doing the work. Now, here is where you come in, okay? This is Insights and Straight Talk. And our audience, our community, you guys, our audience, these guys, we're different. You do not sit quietly. I don't ever see you watching passively. You show up with real questions, your real curiosity, real fire. So today, go big today. Ask the questions that matter. Challenge ideas. Drop your perspective in the comments. Tell us what you stand for. What are you fighting for? And what do you want to know from a man who has spent decades creating wins in rooms most people will never, ever enter? Because when you put a leader like Rocky in a space built around truth and purpose, you don't just get a conversation. You get clarity. You get insight. You get possibility. So buckle up, okay? Take a breath. Grab your coffee, your tea, or your kombucha, and get ready, because this episode is pulling back the curtain on how politics and business and healthcare and innovation and leadership all connect, and how one individual with purpose, grit, and earned wisdom can make outsized impact across industries most people will never see. This is going to be dynamic, and it's going to be real, but it's going to be fun. And you will walk out of this hour, maybe an hour and a half, seeing the world a little different. Great American middle class of America. Let's get to this. Patrick Haag, welcome to Insights and Straight Talk.
Rod, that was amazing. I feel like I'm running out of a tunnel. We got flames, smoke. I'm ready to be your safety. I'm coming all in. And the exciting thing about this, Rod, is, and I'm so thankful to God for the various career paths I've had the opportunity to walk for Him.
Absolutely.
But my primary focus, I'm 65, so I'm in the fourth quarter. So my primary focus is infusing into the youth renewed optimism, renewed hope I want to help. I've got political theories working to not only reignite the middle class formation, but also relight the American dream, and also empower people in this economy, which is extremely fractured. But I'm bringing today a message of hope and capabilities. And you said it yourself, sir, possibilities. Okay, for possibilities, you need capabilities. So we're going to lead this show with capabilities. We're going to have some fun.
Yes, we are. And you know what? We've already got 209 people. People don't even usually come on until after my monologue. They're
You
like,
got
oh,
me fired up. I'm ready to hit
he
somebody,
just,
coach.
well,
Let's
I am
go.
excited too. I've been looking forward to this ever since we started talking here a little bit ago. We've even got people already. I told you, we usually get at least 20 minutes or so. You haven't even started with your journey yet. So we got to jump on
Right.
that because that's going to be a nice little fun little jump onto the field,
Oh,
the rest of
yeah.
that tunnel out.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to Kathy here in a little bit. But man, we've got 240 and rising. And I think this is something that for us as a community, for this show, for the message that comes out of this show. Like I said, we're at 500 episodes now. We're just going bonkers,
Amazing.
and the reason it's so exciting and amazing is because shows like this. Well, every show fires me up. I get really excited about this because it's like I said, this is now my dream. My producer Barbie and I have been together for decades, and she told me that building the machinery business was for my ego. This is from my love. So this is very easy to get fired up on, and every little thing matters. But how did you? We got here today, and it's an important thing for us. How did you get onto the path that led you to us, which is where you're at now? What's the journey? What made you become you in these different, not being satisfied with? You're 65. You're an AI. That alone just. I'm 63, so I'm with you there, brother. But wow, we've got a bunch more questions coming in. But at the end of the day, here's the thing: what brought you on your path? What brought you here, man?
Rod, I'm going to tell you a true story. And guys and gals out there, this is a true story. What got Rocky Head going, I was 4 years old and maybe 7 months. The year is 1964, I believe. And the first image in my brain, Rod and crew, is I have an image. And guess what that image is? It's an image of a young boy in Washington, D.C., saluting the casket of assassinated President Kennedy. It's in my mind.
Yeah,
The flame. Remember the eternal flame that was lit on that day?
I do.
And that's my first visual memory as a human. So that led me.
Wow.
My family poured into me too, Rod. My grandfather, especially on my mom's side, at a very young age. This is pre-internet, obviously. So he started getting me encyclopedia updates. He got me all the Founding Fathers series. He got me the World War II series, Time Life. All the magazines started coming to my house. I started reading books and checking them out at age 7 from the local public library. And I love this country so much, and what it has stood for historically, and also God has infused into me, Rod, recently as of September when I started writing on Substack. Please, everybody, check into my
Give me your, yeah, send
Yeah,
it out there. Also,
yeah,
at the end, Rocky, at the end, towards the end, a while from now, obviously, but you've got a private chat. I forgot to mention this in here. I am going to want you to put your contact information in there
yeah,
because you know how it goes. A week from now, a minute after the show's over, a year after the show's over, whatever, somebody's going to be on there. You know how it starts recounting after the show's over.
yeah.
And people are going to be on there and they're going to go, wow, what did Rocky mean by that? Here, let me leave a comment on the show. It may be a while before anybody sees that, but 15 minutes after the show, if they're emailing you, you're going to get it right now, or whatever your contact is. So please put that in the private. I'll copy and paste it onto the public comments. I don't know why you can't just put it in there, but whatever. Go ahead. What were you saying now about Substack?
Rod,
Give me your Substack.
what's up? Yeah, it's Rocky Haag, ROCKYHAAG at substack.com. And what my Substack is, Rod and crew family, is It's almost my intra-weekly, if not daily, love letter to you. Love letter to America, especially younger people who we have younger people, even some in their 40s, have not been brought up and nurtured to where they should have been. Many of them are in states of depression. They're immobilized by career doubt. Um, they're operating under 19th century business methodologies. I'm about to lay out some insights to you today that are going to give you tools to carve out your own niches, carve out your own destinies. I'm going to give you the power today, ladies and gentlemen. When you go to work tomorrow, if you're working for, I don't call them companies. You know what I call them? I call them orgs. If you're working in a 8 to 4, a 9 to 5, whatever, and you have a title and your boss has a title and HR has everyone has a title, right? I'm here to announce titles mean zero today. This is what a title means. You see that? That's nada. You know what means? The only value that exists in our world today with the AI immersion in full motion around the clock is what value can you pour into me today? What value can one employee infuse into another employee to enhance the value formation of your org? That's what matters. Guess what? The clock resets every sun cycle. You're just like a college coach now. You have to produce value or you're gone. Now, you see the economy using traditional methodologies of just laying people off. This, of course, is the opposite of what a successful org should be doing. A successful org should be overflowing. It should be having remote people in other countries pouring in. It should be bursting at the seams. You should have interns begging, walking around with burners to get 3 minutes with you. I've been pouring into a young salesman. I don't even like to use the word sales because it sounds manipulative. I've been pouring into him recently, just as mission work. Orgs need to be inviting people into value possibilities for their existence and their orgs. You're not selling; you're inviting. You're stacking so much value in the person's mind and he or she's mind that when the subscription or the price is mentioned for your product, service, value proposition, they're going to say, ship it now. I needed it last week. But one of the things I'm prefacing him on, though, I'm going to teach the Duff community here something. People today, everyone, don't kid yourself. You see a lot of people walking around acting like they got it together. You see that? That's BS. Let me tell you something, people. People today in America are scared. They're scared.
100%.
They're scared. And therefore, if you are presenting a value proposition for your org, or you are going to get that next position, what you must do, and it's essential you do, when you either get on the phone with them, get on a Zoom with them, or you go belly to belly physically, like old school days, when I used to go door to door doing stuff, you've got to let them set the frequency mentally, spiritually, emotionally, without words. And even from the very beginning, you've got to feel them, calculate in your mind before you say one word. Get on there. You need to immediately, like a missile, these missiles that we have today are incredible in that they can adjust their fins and vectors, thrust vectors, and they're not going to miss. They may miss by 1 inch, right? So you got to vector in on the frequency of your guest.
Okay, hold on. Perfect place to stop you because, well, first of all, there's 419 people on and counting. So we're looking pretty good. This pretty early, to be honest with you. So I'm excited about that. Please subscribe and like the episode, as I must say, it's my duty. But right there, what you're talking about, what does that look like? Because I love that you're talking to a salesperson and wanting to get their vibe, but can you fill what I like to call put some colors between the layers there? Let's hover here for a second. And what does that look like when you're getting their vibe? You're getting you got to know, because that's what you just said. Oh my God, I very rarely hear anybody talk about this. And I know you don't like the word sales, but this is the whole thing this is it right here. Because if you don't know them, the only way they're going to buy is if they feel they know you. So
yeah, you're touching.
Talk to me, fill it out, would you?
Rod, you know what you're bringing up? You're bringing up even the pre-sequence. What you're bringing up is, you're bringing up something primal. You're bringing up, and you have to do this the night before, guys and girls. You've got to the night before be so full of personal gratitude and empathy for other humans, because everyone's a child of God. You've got to have pre-prepared before they open the door or answer the phone. You need the ability and confidence to listen. And when I say listen, I mean, you're going to have the confidence to be quiet. It's scary. Pauses are scary. I went to a network meeting recently, and guess what? You know what everyone does at network meetings? It's horrible. It's like zombies running around trying to bite each other. Dude, I picked up the most amazing account. You know what I did?
That was the best way I've ever heard one described. I love it.
What was that series out of Atlanta where the germ got out at Day of the Living Dead? No, Night. What was it? Night of the. Remember?
Yeah. No, I watched that series with Barbie.
Series, right?
It was a great series. It was an awesome series.
You've got to have this is what you've got to do, team. Let's say you're about to approach a network meeting and you have the most fantastic product to offer. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to saddle that puppy. You're going to walk into that room. You're going to find someone that looks interesting. You're going to sit down across from them. And guess what you're going to say? First thing you know is you're going to make eye contact and you're going to say, "What's your story? I'm interested." And just shut up. And just wait for the knowledge to drop. The same theme is utilized on the telephone, in that you have to come on there almost in monk mode, samurai type spirit of reflection. You're radiating gratitude and empathy. Same time, simultaneous. Prepared the night before through your diary, journaling, meditation, prayer, etc. And then that is going to open up an incredible, what happens, and what in that particular networking scenario, that I sat down across from a young man, made eye contact, and I said in so many words, "I'm interested. What's your story? What's going on?" He spoke for about an hour. And the more he spoke, what started happening is trust was building. He started trusting and trusting and trusting, because I was listening, and I was, of course, acknowledging, verbally, you have to be responsive, that you are actively listening, that you're mentally taking tabulation. That has led to one of the more remarkable transformations in his business. I just got a phone call from him, this young man. Guess what, guys? He has a company this gentleman is going to be building aircraft in the United States of America. I got a phone call from him the other day. To my surprise, guess what he just got emailed to him? $13 million in purchase orders.
Oh, geez. Hello there.
This is what's possible when Americans fellowship, cover each other's six. I have a totally different skill set than my young friend does. I'm campaigner creative. He's analytical judgmental. You need all four categories. You put them together. There's nothing that will stop it when you combine all four of those emotions, personalities, those energies, because one checks the other. See? So I'm here today. I want everyone to leave this meeting when we do disperse, ready to collaborate with your family. You got to first of all collaborate with yourself and the head coach, if you know what I'm saying. Become at peace with who you are. Then collaborate with your family. Then collaborate and create a neighborhood again. And then collaborate with people in your org. And then start collaborating with, guess what, guys? The competition model is dead. Remember the dinosaurs? That's where competition will lead you. Guess what? You know what the way out is, my brother? Collaboration.
Oh man, you were going to say that.
Collaboration, infusing. In other words, I shocked my wife the other day. I had just started another international company through pooling intangible assets at zero cost because it was done on WhatsApp. And I got a phone call from someone in Scotland trying to sell me leads for real estate wholesaling. On the call. I was in a good mood. So you know what? I'm going to put this on speaker. Because I know it drives my wife crazy. She's opposite me. She's very good in judgment. I don't think she's ever been wrong. She's better than Alex Jones. That's a joke, y'all. Y'all can laugh, please.
Oh no! I guarantee you, including me, there's chuckles. There's chuckles going around the room. The only thing I don't like about this this platform is that I'm only getting their typed words. I'm working with a radio station to get like vocal call-ins and that, because that's a much better. You would have heard the chuckles then, I guarantee you. Well, a lot of guys, if not every one of them.
I love it. I put the salesperson on my speakerphone in the kitchen loud. And my wife hates it when I'm on the phone anyway, because I do talk loud. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry. So I put the speakerphone on the kitchen table, and I just start listening to this young man pitch me on why his real estate wholesale leads are good. I said, oh, tell me more. Okay, what are y'all doing? Okay, I'm curious. I said, you have a great accent. What is your name? I think his name was something like Atlas. And I said, damn, that's a great name. Where are you from? And he says, I'm from Egypt. And I said, that's awesome. In Egypt, that'd be like, no, his name was, let me correct myself. His name was Ramses. And I said, dude, that's like a royal name in Egypt, if I'm correct, if I remember my encyclopedias. He laughed. He's now living in Ireland. Long story short.
Wow.
Long story short, get this. My new company, which has yet to ship digital products yet out of India, and it's going to do it through an American parent, totally bona fide U.S. server technology, clean, sanitary, made in USA, 100% on our physical servers. Ramses is lined up for me to white label him. So now I have, instead of competing with this young man and saying, no, I don't need your leads, I went into the listening mode. You be curious, y'all. Y'all need to be damn curious about everything all the time. Curiosity will get you, Grant Cardone likes the 10X. Dude, that's old school. I love Grant, but I'm just saying, come on. Get curious about everything. That's what I did with him. And he's going to be one of my first customers. He's going to be, I had not at that point had a distributor in Europe. And see what collaboration is also a new enhanced form of capitalism. we need capitalism to work, right?
Yeah, we do.
We need to get it reborn. Capitalism is only working right now for the elites who are, well, thank God that one thing I'm very thankful to President Trump about is I do think he stopped America from entering into world government. And now we have an opportunity. That's when we're fellowshipping today. I do have a memo for everyone, though. Are you ready to receive this? Pretend we're a fire base in Vietnam on top of a mountain, and we're low on ammunition. We're surrounded. Artillery ran out of shells. So we're on a radio, and we're calling for air support. I love the movie Platoon, so I'll go back to that all the time for motivation. I have a memo for Rod Duff and squad. Are you ready?
Ready.
So I heard back from headquarters. Guess what? There's nothing coming. Right. There's zero coming. There's not a coming. You know what that means, Rod Duff and squad? That means it's you and me. It's up to us. Don't look to a leader. We should be. I love Trump and others. There's a few others I love, but we have to be so strong in our coming. We have to be coming so hard to where we're delivering the goods. It's guys and girls. It's up to you. What you see right now is your help. End of story. So forget about a degree saving you. Forget about it, necessarily Hollywood saving you. And guess what? An addendum to the memo. You are the star. Start living like you are Robert De Niro because in your life, because you are. Remember how Robert De Niro does this? Look at yourself and start talking better to yourself right now.
Yeah, so it's something that we focus on a lot here, and I'm glad we're chatting about this right now because it is all about bringing from the inside out. You building from the inside out, and us bringing together and coming together as a great middle class, and then by extension, bringing our leadership in Washington or local government into place is only going to happen once we start living our lives, once we start taking methods and information in from the lives that we're leading, and that from that building from the inside out, because we're here because we're here. We're here for a reason. Change is the only thing that comes by effort. It needs effort. It needs input. It needs us to take an active part in our life. And what you're saying is so true. Start talking to yourself differently. Wave to somebody else. Don't be what we've been forced into, these boxes that have happened for so long because our leadership divide and conquer, right? It's been around for how long? You divide and conquer. Put us into our boxes. We allow it, and then we start just bringing, and we think less of ourselves. Social media becomes our judge. The family structure is broken down, the support stuff. And so what you're saying is so critically important. We did pass this a little bit, but I wanted to bring Danny in here before we get too far behind on the questions, because we were talking about this a little earlier, and we've continued to expand on your story, which is awesome. Can political strategy really influence biotech innovation? So what we're looking at here is some of the things that have led up to your analysis of what makes success happen, your experiences, part of which has been, some of these strategies that you've used in the past. And Danny here has got a particular interest in how that political strategy can influence biotech innovation. Now, I don't know if he's talking about actually working through politics to get that innovation done, or is some of the strategies in your background that you've used during your political days has been able to have this kind of presentation to make that innovation come true? What do you think he's he's digging at here.
Danny, I'm going to give you a triple burger. Are you ready? I'm going to answer because your question goes both ways. It's beautiful.
It is a great question.
Innovation in health will drive political strategy and political strategy. Well, first of all, yes, political strategy and or political rulemaking legislation initiatives have dramatic effect at the macro level on biotech, medical science product formation. Dramatic. However, we flip the script. Guess what? There is so much innovation, beautiful innovation. I'm so glad y'all tuned in today. Your mind is going to leave here not only energized, but your heart's going to be at peace and you're going to be ready to go. Because there's so much innovation coming that we'll have innovation flowing into DC to not only affect their strategy and what they want to do with us. We're so far ahead of them to where we now have technologies that will bring the 5-star healthcare to people living in Iowa, Wyoming, out in a cabin. That's okay. Can FedEx get there? We'll get you. Come on. We got the internet. All we need is telehealth. We'll send the records to your medical staff. We supplement pathologists, oncologists. We don't replace doctors. We're augmenting he or she doctor that's working on you now. We're like a pit crew, just reinforcing medical information. So great question. It goes both ways. There's so much innovation. Y'all won't believe all the good things coming your way.
Oh, I believe me. I am. 2 years ago, my second granddaughter was born, and at her 1 year birthday. Thank you very much. At her 1 year birthday party, I was at my son's house. They live in Texas, just a little south of me here. I'm in Arkansas because of the show. Long story. It's a great story, but another day. So I was sitting across their little island, and we were chit-chatting over some cake and a juice or whatever it was. And we got onto this subject because a year earlier, my son had started to teach me AI, chat GPT and that. And you always heard that this has been going on. Actually, Google is actually AI. So if you think about it, AI has been around for decades and decades and decades, forever. But he started really teaching me a little bit about it. Hey, try this, try that kind of stuff, simple stuff, building up. Well, so a year later, because that started on when she was born, I was at his house. She was born in the hospital, but I stayed over the weekend. And so while we were there, a year later now, his mother-in-law, his wife's mother, and I were talking, and her whole reaction is roughly our age, right? Her whole reaction was, it just scares me. I don't want anything to do with it. And one of these stick your head in the sand. I'm not knocking her at all, but this is a common thing. This is a big freaking deal. I'm going to say fucking deal. This is a big deal here because it's coming, and it's coming only faster as it comes. And what you're saying here is, I guarantee everybody here is, we don't know what it is, but we know something's happening. What you're saying, all these innovations that are coming at us, they're coming at us, and they're only, they used to say, look at something, for an industry for 50 years, and then you can project how it's going to, if it lasts, goes that 50 years, you get an idea of what 100 years from now will look like, right? And AI, that you can't even really say that. I mean, you're talking about a year, 5 years, and see what that, you can't even imagine where it is. It's like we see what our military has, and we're generations ahead of anybody in the next level, right? As far as our weaponry and technical capabilities, and just the way our military is put together. But here's the thing. What we see is actually a couple generations behind what they're already developed or working on. AI is kind of that thing. And that's why there's so much interest in this, 400 and some odd people on this show, like locked in, because this is AI changing everything. And when you say, hey, just wait, there's some stuff happening with telehealth and diagnostics and AI. Like this question here, I wanted to lead up to Kathy's here. How do you see AI shaping the future of healthcare diagnostics? I should have put it up about 3 minutes before you said that last comment, because you're right there. You're saying, dude, there's some stuff coming that is going to blow your mind. And can you kind of tip into that, lean into that a little bit for Kathy here?
Yeah, let's back up, Kathy. Great question. I'll get right to it. I wanted to get to your point just for a second on the issue of AI. I want everybody to take a breath for a minute and think for a minute. Pretend you had not heard of AI for today, okay?
Okay.
When my goal today is to infuse so much enthusiasm about AI into each of y'all's personal life. Personal now. That's one-on-one. That's for you, Kathy, to just ask the question. I want you to become so intermeshed with AI and analog. I want everyone here to start buying physical books at your used bookstore, build up your analog information stockpile, combine them, but by the time you leave this show here today, you will well, not only will you be middle class, you're going to be the boss. Thank you. And okay, Kathy, great question. Look, AI is so powerful in that what it does is enhances the discovery, the detection, the diagnostics, the treatments, and the research trials. Let's talk about cancer for a moment. That because I'm currently working with several AI cancer diagnostic firms. Word gets around, you start having fun. Who's counting, right? They just all want to come in and get some. So what's happening is, think about Thomas Edison, right? God bless him. How many times did he have to work to get an electric bulb? Like 200 or something?
1,000.
Failure after failure after failure. Well, guess what? With AI, it greatly reduces the time loop for success. True. And so what AI is doing as you and I speak, in fact, what it's doing is, okay, this is the way I want the team to think today. I want you to get a Chat GTP5 or your favorite AI account. I want you to start pouring into it your diary, your thoughts, your goals every day, and just learning from it. And also, I want you to
I like that idea.
I want you to.
So when you're saying that, you're writing a diary. So I use Chat GPT 5. Today I'm going to do, like they call it, journaling, right? The old journaling, and because we do a lot of mental health on this show, so I'm connecting with you right now. But as I journal so I'm going to create a new project, right, or homework, and I'm going to call it journaling. And so every morning when I get up, I'm going to go to besides the other things I do, I'm going to say, what does that look like? I'm going to say, so today I thought this, that, this. What do you think? Because you're talking now, right? That's the concept? Is that what you're talking about? Or am I wrong?
No, you're exactly spot on. I actually, I'm going to be real raw with you. Sometimes I argue with Chat GTP. I'll detect some BS in some of its political language. I've actually, and y'all, seriously, I once told Chat GTP5, would you stop talking like a corporate attorney? I did, y'all. And guess what? They got in line. You're the boss, guys and girls. Come on now.
Yeah.
You got to train these tools.
Ooh. Hey, do you have a community in ChatGPT or AI or automation? Do you have any?
You're slightly ahead of me. I'm just using they possibly exist. Somebody can chime in, but I'm just simply using the Chat GTP as an augmentation to my analog and regular YouTube information compilations. But let me
Yeah, I
just
don't use Google anymore. I use ChatGPT.
well, I use Google for restaurants, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a good one.
If I need a sandwich. But Kathy, let me close this out to you about AI and diagnostics. And this is going to really excite your mind. There's a company in Orlando working on a cancer screening diagnostic product. It's about to launch. It's going to replace the pap smear experience. Did you hear me? You don't have to worry much longer about going to some doctor that he or she that you may not know. You're going to be able to use a urine-based module. You can do it at home or in an office, mail it back, FedEx it back to the laboratory for AI analysis. So you know how terrible pap smears are invasive for women. It's not fair. It's invasive. They may have had a negative experience with a pap smear. So this is just, y'all, this is just ice cube one of a glass we're going to fill up today as far as what's going to be happening within weeks of my announcement.
Wow. So there's something going on right now that's just going to take the cap off of one of the silos, the many that are coming in front of us is where you're alluding to.
You know, let me lay something. You want me to go ahead and give you dessert right now?
Sure.
Can you get a vote on who wants dessert right now?
I'm hungry. I want
some key lime pie right now.
Love key lime. Love it.
I predict this in love and confidence that within 5 years, the human cancer experience will be as simple as taking care of as getting your car's oil changed every 6 months if you're using synthetic.
Wow.
It'll be a combination of your home intake and outtake being measured by high-tech semiconductor units, which can detect pathogens in or out. It will be comprised of cancer screening kits that will be shipped to you, or you can easily do at a nearby laboratory. Or it will also be soon enhanced within another year by any imaging that you go to get, any X-ray, MRI, CAT scan, PET scan. All of these elements are going to be turbocharged with AI, which is, again, y'all take a breath. One day, soon, cancer is as simple as getting your cars, just get your oil changed now. Get checked. You got to, then get this. Here's where it gets better. Depending upon the cancer screening profile you have conducted, Rod, you can literally have, I know of another.
You're actually building that cancer profile now over your life. I mean, you can literally do that now. The technology's there. We don't do it yet.
You just put the cherry on the top. In other words,
yeah.
If you get with this laboratory soon to come out, and you let them catalog your unique genetic structure. Every human has a unique genetic code. Guess what? They'll be able, within 2 years, probably, I'm estimating, to be able to constantly, using your chromosomal data as numbers, they'll run algorithms against your sequences to alert you. You may get a text a couple years from now saying, Rocky, I want you to go ahead and get a prostate cancer screen. Why? Because you had a semiconductor measure your urine in your toilet for this molecule. It's coming to you in a text. Well, by that time, that might be a hologram. Good things are coming, y'all.
Dang, there's some not only good things, but next level stuff. So in these innovations, just these innovations that you're talking about right now, which are going to create something else, which will create something else. You're old enough. You remember Perel commercial, and so on and so on and so on, and and the woman's face was plastered all over the screen.
Yeah.
These things build upon each other, and it's like the 4-minute mile in our lifetime. It was never going to be broken. And then one day it was broken. God, what does that go back 20 years now? And it's been broken. Now it's like a standard. It's not a big deal anymore, the 4-minute mile. Once the human mind can conceive it and then achieve it. Once that happens, then it's after the next thing. It's like space, right? Once we hit the moon, oh my God, forget about it.
Rod, let me add on to your cherry. I'm gonna put a little whipped cream on it. Listen to this, y'all.
You're making me hungry, brother.
And please, y'all, you're gonna have to reset your goals after this show. If you're sitting in some office somewhere because you got a nice title and a nice paycheck and a nice degree from one of them highfalutin universities, and you think you're safe, you ain't safe. No building is safe. No organization is safe. No individual is safe. Your future is going to be dictated by the amount of value you pour into other people's lives. That's it. Once y'all get this formula. Now, guess what that means, bottom line? Y'all, we have to start working on communication skills. Today, watch some Jordan Peterson, watch some Ed Milet. Watch some Grant Cardone. Get on the YouTube. Go to your favorites. Start speaking better. Learn some big words. Start communicating. Because guess what? When I was growing up, we had this in high school. We used to have a funny group of people that we called nerds. Nerds. These were goofy people that used to hang out at y'all. We used to have a store called Radio Shack, where they allowed you to go build a darn transistor radio. Anyway, nerds got ridiculed for about 10 years because the football players laughed at them, cheerleaders laughed at them. I used to be friends with them just out of mercy, and I was kind of a history nerd, so I was kind of a semi-nerd. But guess what? Your tech nerds, guess what happened? They inherited the earth. World. Look what happened to Bill Gates. Look what happened But guess what? Oh my goodness. Y'all, can I drop a memo to the nerds today? Do I have your permission?
Bring it on, brother.
Okay, y'all. Y'all ready for this? Nerds, it's over. It's not about hardware. It's not about the servers you build. It's not about the chips you make. It's not about the buildings you build. It's not about the software you sell. The world is now going to be ruled by wordsmiths. He or she who can, with charisma, with gratitude, with empathy, with agape love, command attention. Attention is the new currency. It's not Bitcoin. It's not cash. Gold is good, but it's not the ultimate. The ultimate wealth is human attention. Communicators are inheriting the power now. Now, another shockwave memo to Washington, D.C. Are y'all ready for this? Y'all better get communicating better because I ain't hearing nothing, with the exception of the big OG. I need to hear something from others. Otherwise, you may not be getting some votes. Can I get an amen?
Amen. See if we get some down the road here. So you're saying, it's actually not really even coming full circle, is it? Although if you go back to Greece, that's when communication, or maybe the Romans. But so now we've gone all the way around where the nerds took over the world and created the hardware, the base, the infrastructure for everything to be laid upon this. That's when the internet came. The Army and what was it, Oregon, I think it was, or was it Washington? Maybe University of Washington developed that, and then and then once they got past that, then it became something that could go out and be publicly sellable. And so dial-up happened, and then on and on and on. And so now that infrastructure has been laid in place and really is kind of almost building itself. I mean, there's hardware that's got to be built. Jobs are going to change. But what you're saying now is the nerds are now back to the behind the scenes stuff. It's the people that can communicate and sell and make it happen.
See, communication is how we give context
Ideas
and meaning. Can you, in other words, just how I'll give you, you're a great communicator. At the beginning of the show, you really poured into me. You see how that lifted me? I was already up, but it was like the equivalent of a couple Red Bulls and maybe a cigarette. I mean, dude, I'm up. I'm so up now. Doggone it. I'm going to go watch like a highlight reel. I'm up.
Well, listen, you want to hear how high we are right now? You want to hear how high we are?
How are you?
We've been going over an hour already, and I didn't even realize it.
Are you kidding me?
Hour and just looked up. An hour and 2 minutes and 27 seconds.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
We just
go
started,
on,
right?
go on.
So
yeah, we're only on our third question here.
Well, let's answer Joey's question. Joey DeVille, that's a cool name.
Well, finish your thought. It is a really cool name. Finish your thought, though.
Communication?
Yes.
Okay, team, the team here, squad, look, communicate first of all with yourself, with yourself and the head coach. Get your communication straight with the head coach. Get at peace, gain empathy, gratitude. Always have gratitude. Every beginning of the day, end of the day, gratitude. That'll pour into empathy, which will make you magnetic to other people. They want to pour into you. Starts there now. And by now you're talking better to yourself, right? Never, ever say anything negative. I don't care. Bite a cloth, bite a tree limb, curse, run. Do not, and I got this from the late, great, early, beautiful young man, died in his 40s, unfortunately, from cancer, Trevor Moawad, who wrote a book that changed my life called Getting to Neutral. Y'all, get on Amazon, but he wrote 2 books, beautiful. And what Trevor said, Trevor's commandment, his main commandment says, can I get real? Can I say the S word, sir?
Shit, yeah.
I just wanted to ask. I don't know. Okay, this is what Trevor.
I mean, hey, no, I wouldn't want to throw bombs back and forth, but hell, this is live. I said something earlier. I was concerned I was going to offend you, but I threw it out anyway. You're good.
I don't normally use a lot of this S language, but what Trevor says. Y'all listen to this, please. Memo this. Record this. Write this down physically somewhere. I don't care where you're at. If you got to post it, write it down. You listen to this. Never personally say negative shit out loud. Now, you can think it. You can think it because that gives you time to process. Do not verbalize it. Trevor puts in his book that if you verbalize negative language against yourself or even the weather or even any event, do not emote that to words. Trevor says in his book, Getting to Neutral, you increase the negativity by like 4 delta, like 4,000, just crazy. Do not emote negative language. If you're a coach, do not allow players to say anything negative. If you're a teacher, cut that negative. if you're trying to pour into a student who's saying, I'm not this, I'm not that, eliminate that negative language, get them to go to neutral. Where if you can get to neutral, y'all, in your decision-making process, guess what? Comes back to a word that Duff laid on us earlier called possibility. If you can get to neutral, guess what? The past is not predictive. You know what that means? Throw the damn ball. They may be open.
Yeah, love that. It's that same thing. It's kind of like what you throw out in the world is what comes back to you. You've got vibrations. We're a frequency. We're a living being. You know, what do they say? Your brain or your body can has enough energy to power a small town for a week or a house for a month, whatever that story is. But it's so true. And all these things come back to now what you're saying. If you're saying that negative thing out loud, it's one thing to think it. You want to get past that. But if you can get to neutral and just be neutral, now you can bring in all that needs to be brought in without being blocked. Let me ask you this, and I've been looking at this question while we've been talking. You wanted to get to Joey's question here, your favorite name here, but I kept it here because does it? I'm just curious. Does it build on each other? Let me read the question and then come back and ask you what I'm actually asking you. Okay, Rocky? So when I look at Joey here, what's the biggest challenge blending tech with public service? So I get the whole tech. That's what's coming, and that's what's going to be the worker bee for all of us. And the ones who are going to lead are the ones that can tell the story. But the only way to tell a story is to be able to come across authentic. I'm connecting dots here. Come across authentic, because the only way you can sell something is if people believe you, and if you're authentic, then they're going to believe you. And so now the storytellers who are authentic, who are believable, are the ones that are going to be now ruling the world. Let's say now. With public service, I've noticed that a little bit between your faith, your public service, and all these things that you build in mentoringship, young leaders. Does that add to that aura of yourself, so to speak? That if I use weird words sometimes, but when you're becoming authentic, now your tech is the underground, the framework, the base of everything as we move forward. It certainly basically is, but it will be for sure. Now you add public service to this. Is this making? Am I tying this together right? What he's bringing on, or am I missing the point here, Rocky?
Joey, you've got a very deep question here, whether you realize it or not. Well, first of all, on the surface, let me answer. You have a surface question, and then I'm gonna peel back something very deep that you may have not realized. You may have, I'm not sure. The answer to your broad question is, I'm sorry, Duff. You had a point you wanted to express before the question.
No, I had done that. All I was saying is am I reading this right? Because of what you were talking about, needing the storytellers are the ones inheriting the earth now.
Yes.
And the nerds made that all happen with IT. Yeah. But my question is blending that tech, okay, and then coming in with the story of public service. Does that public service go towards making you more authentic? So now more of a story. I mean, how are we combining that? I'm trying to mix that together.
Yeah, I see where you're going. Yes, and the answer is yes. In other words, but there's a dynamic I have to lay. There's a part B which I'll bring in. There is a tremendous opportunity. My public service career, God knows what he's doing, y'all. Do not second guess your head coach.
Yeah.
My career has perfectly forged the proper communication spirit animal to help others flourish in this new American New World. Because as a public servant, I was always focused on service, not me. I had to sit here on the phone for hours getting
Okay,
cursed
here you go.
by
Here you
people that
go.
didn't
Okay.
like me because I'm serving them. They poured into me. You know what they said at the end? Thank you for listening, even though they had cursed at me and called me bad things for an hour. It was my job to receive their emotion. So, what by the time I rolled up into the tech space, and it doesn't make any sense, right? That someone with an arts and humanities background, I do have an MBA, but I'm primarily a communicator, arts, humanities, big student of history. Even every day I'm studying history. What am I doing in AI technology? Well, guess what? I'm helping dominate in the area of communications because my whole life, my granddaddy had me from age 6, 7 up, pouring through encyclopedias. Every month they bring out a new one. He would buy the new edition. It was expensive then. It was like $200 back then. I'd just pour over them things, just look at all the diagrams. Just so this is where y'all got to be. Y'all got to start going after information as if it was free money, and just you need to go after information like it's food that you can't get enough of. You need to go after information like it's barbecue sauce on cornbread and just eat it up all day long. You know what happens? You get bigger and bigger. And guess what happens, y'all? True story. I don't know why this is, but when your samurai boy Rocky goes to 7-Eleven, you know what term people call me? And I'm really not even one, but you know what they call me?
What?
Boss. No words, y'all. They just say, how you doing, boss? They open door for boss. Hey, boss, what's up? Why? You have so much love for yourself because when I'm walking up there, even though it's not true, I'm walking up like I own it. I'm walking up there asking, how's their weekend? How's their wife? Did they take their wife to Disneyland like they told me last week? Communicate with everyone, y'all. Why? Because gatekeepers are gatekeepers are the first 90 yards of the touchdown. Forget about C-suite, y'all. Y'all need to learn how to treat people. You got to love on people. You need to roll up to a hotel. Someone goes to park your car. You need to act like they own that hotel. They're going to mirror back on you and call you boss. That's authority, y'all, is given human to human. There is no title that's going to save you. No school is going to give you a degree that's going to keep you safe. You need to come out of here and learn something.
You're really bringing. It's an interesting juxtaposition that your journey is, your discussion is, because all AI discussions, well, not all, obviously this one isn't, so not all, but when you think of AI, you think of, okay, so we're going to talk about, bits, and we're going to talk about crypto maybe, and we're going to talk about digits and dots and dashes, and we're going to talk about these things that we all know that is coming. That is the technology. But you're like pulling that in front of you, in front of your journey, and then coming behind it with the soft skills that are now. So there's always been this concern, okay, is AI going to take over humans? Whatever the future is. I always say that I've got a lane called the Jetsons are coming. Well, they're here. So they're already here. But as we're going through this conversation, I told you earlier, connecting dots. And as you're pulling that AI in front of your journey, your message, and then coming right behind it with soft skills, it really is fascinating how it's all. I said in the beginning, you have these 5 different career paths that look like they're stacked, but they're really intertwined. And I knew that and seeing what you were talking about, but now I'm hearing it and feeling it and seeing that vision, like here, like Cody. Looks like Cody's either on the computer or maybe he's an internet person. But do you think now, and that's why I brought this one up right now because of what you said. Cody's got a couple of questions here in a row. But do you think grassroots skills are underutilized in health innovation? Because and the reason some of these questions were scaring me earlier on, but as you and I talk more through this message, I'm going back and going, my God, I always talk about how smart these freaking people in the audience are, but they're obviously seeing more of this than I'm just now catching up to. And this grassroots. So in other words, we're back to that grassroots skills, inner ability to communicate with people. You just said it. Be able to talk to somebody, in a way that if they're opening the door, then they know that they should be, they're that important, that they're the one opening that door. You flip-flop things a little bit. I always say, wave hi to somebody, say hi to somebody, come together.
That's important. That's very important. Yes, I agree with you. This is a very powerful question, Cody. And to answer your question, absolutely yes. And because when you say grassroots skills to me, what that means in my mind is field knowledge, real knowledge, tactical knowledge of a region, a neighborhood. I'll give you a perfect example where the United States of America fumbled during COVID. When COVID first hit, y'all, there were doctors in the field that when it hit, see, doctors, there are a lot of men and women doctors out there that are healers. And there's some that have not sold out to the evil orgs. We do have
correct.
We do have some evil orgs out there, y'all. I'll mention a few before you leave, so you can be praying for their repentance. Cody, this is a great question. 100% yes. Doctors, shortly after COVID hit, had noticed very healing therapeutics effects of ivermectin, zinc, vitamin D, y'all. Vitamin C was helping enhance people's lives and COVID response, and also hydroxychloroquine. And guess what happened, y'all? Y'all know what happened. The Fauci cabal.
Yeah.
We do have evil in this world, y'all. We can't be naive. We have to be smart girls and guy bosses. We got to collaborate. And we got to point it out in love. We got to point it out. People need to repent. But we had doctors in America pointing the way to enhancing the COVID response. And they were not only not listened to, y'all know this because you were on Facebook too. Guess what happened? They got erased. They took away their Facebooks. They took away their Twitters. They took away their YouTubes. Why? Because the evil org, there are evil orgs in government and in certain industries that are in operation for themselves, for their own Swiss bank accounts. They're not for the middle class necessarily. If it hadn't been for President Trump, we'd be eating bugs. We wouldn't even have any cars. Thank you, President Trump. Anyway, great question. 100% yes. We need to be more sensitive to the field. Now, this is where AI, let me put a little AI on this, Cody. AI and the next generation of semiconductor glass coming out is going to work in conjunction. And what you're going to have soon is that grassroots skills data. What you're saying there essentially is data from the field not hitting the knowledge base. Yes, it is not, but soon it will be.
So it's just a matter of really the system kind of there's going to be a lot of this in this for a while. The system's catching up to what the new realities are. And that's why these conversations are so important.
Coach, can I lay something on you?
Bring it on.
And this is from the heart, y'all. I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but You've got to think ahead. And right now, as I speak, we have people in power, and that could be in the health industry, the defense industry, in the education industry, in the consumer industry. And guess what they're doing, y'all? They're hanging on, saying, oh my God, everyone has the information now. What are we going to do for relevance? That's why please go to my Substack, read my article on my theory of relevance. This will supplant the theory of relativity. No insult to my homeboy Einstein, but the theory of relevance is going to push the scientists on out of the way. And so there will be a time with AI and these new chips where where good information will be irreversibly transmitted to you, either on your cell phone or to your hologram or to a sensor on your body. But here's what I want to lay on you right now, Coach, is something. Stop believing everything you hear from people that are established. I don't care what your brand name is. I don't care if you have 18 buildings in your organization. So what? Guess what? Rocky Samurai Boy is curious as a cat. I'm going to study up on you. I'm going to know you. I'm going to know your market. And if you're not careful, your people may love on me and come on over to my people. Because the future belongs to those who can pour more value and gain attention and reflecting love from the other human. And this is happening now, y'all. This is why I don't know how many people are with us, but when they get fortified with this knowledge.
About a little over 400, same amount. We're floating right around 415, 420.
I don't know where they live. They're going to go into the office the next day. They may shock HR. They may shock the CEO. They may shock the director of communications. You know why? They're going to be walking around with so much value, loving on so many people, asking how many people, what's going on? Hey, I got this idea. I just talked to this customer. I'm adding value. Are you adding value? Because I'm adding value right now on you. What are you going to do? You better add value. Are you? Hey, dude, you're not going to be zero. You're going to be forgotten. I mean, at least zero's on the board.
Right,
dude, you're gone. So, guys, we're in what? Here's the other dessert for y'all. Early AI crew is your new friend to allow you to sift through the debris of what used to be a 19th century construct known as corporate America.
Yeah.
What you see before you now could quite possibly be dead men walking. They don't even know it yet. One day they'll just drop, like the Soviet Union dropped one day. And the wall came down. The wall's down, y'all. Get up on this knowledge. Get the AI. Get analog. Go to your used bookstore. Get these books. Don't throw books out. Don't throw magazines out. Get curious as a cat every day.
I like what Cody says in his next question. And it's I kind of right now as we're talking about it, I waited to bring this up because we're really kind of in it right now. I'm imagining. I'm just taking your personality for granted here. How do you stay focused on purpose while leading multiple initiatives? Well, it just sounds like the energy behind the purpose is what's driving. I mean, it's like I talk about. People ask me, how can you do shows 6 days a week, and all that goes with it? How do you keep up the energy and the excitement and the interest? Well, it's because every time I start talking, or really doing the prep, as I'm doing the prep before the show, I write down some notes for the monologue, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, we're digging into this. Come in, and maybe I was going to open the show with, it's kind of cold and bitterly out today. And, you've got to be able to come up from, those days you just want to lay on the cuddle with your kids or the dogs or your wife, if that's good, or your partner on the couch with a blanket. but not here. You can't really do that because you've got to be, well, as I'm starting to talk on any of these damn shows, it's very easy to get very fired up and pumped up, especially as I start thinking through my monologue and start talking about it and getting excited about what's coming. I'm guessing you're very similar. I may be wrong here, but I'm guessing that it's you could stay focused on purpose while these multiple initiatives are coming through. It's because one, they're connected, they're kind of dotting into each other, but also you get focused when you get excited, don't you?
Good question, Cody. Good question. Focus is so important. Y'all, the reason I'm excited, the reason I'm energized is because God touched me a few months ago. I'll be real raw with you. For most of my adult life, I walked around with a bug in my internal operating system. And I had a friend, he wasn't even from a particular church. Over a period of 1 year, he debugged my software. He said, Rocky, stop saying that. Over 1 year, I was his junior in the area of communications. And 1 year, he said, stop saying that, Rocky, stop saying that. Finally, one day, I stopped saying it. Then about a month later, I was watching a real cool Substack show on the OODA loop, how everyone wants to get left of bang, superior military battlefield information mindset, get ahead of the curve, get ahead of the event. It clicked one day, y'all. Are y'all ready? This is my opus right here for everybody. I'm going to give you 7 words. Somebody needs to hear this today. Are you ready?
Ready.
I'm going to count on myself on my hand to make sure I don't overtalk. And I want you to think about these words, 7 words. I want you to meditate on them. Now, once they ignite in you, you're going to be a monster. Boss don't fit it. You're going to be like a godfather, godmother. You're going to be like, what the hell happened? You ready, y'all?
Ready.
Okay. God loves you and has your back. I'll repeat it. God loves you. Now get this. And has your back. And it took me a year for that to hit me. But once you recognize that you are a child of God, I don't care what race you are, you have a spark of the divine in you. This is why we do not want to fall into the trap of letting them get MAGA people fighting with others and Democrats fighting with Republicans. I have a new theory on that too, MAGA 2.0, which is odorless, partyless. It has no ideology. It's pure Americana. Go to Substack, please, bone up on that. But
I was reading about that earlier. Go ahead.
Once these 7 words get into your iOS, every phone, I put my phone in the other room. Every phone has an internal operating system, y'all. You have an internal operating system. You don't have to tell yourself to breathe, do you? You don't have to tell your heartbeat. Your eyes blink, right? That's an internal operating system. Once you recognize, see, the schools have lied to y'all. I'm not blaming teachers. I'm just saying the system was telling you, get in line, stop dreaming, get real, go get a degree, fit here, do your 9 to 5. Work for here. That's realistic. No, you can't ask him or her out. All these rules put on you for years, they shrink you as a human. Once those 7 words come out of your brain into your heart and your spiritual mind, y'all, there are no limits. I want y'all to stop seeing buildings, stop seeing ceilings. There are no barriers. There is nothing stopping you but yourself from cutting back on the Netflix. Get curious. Get soaking up this knowledge. Cody, this was a very good question. This sounds like a very good question. Now, how do you stay focused on these various projects? You know what, Cody? One of the way I stay focused is I'm giving a lot of wealth away every day to friends and young people I know at zero cost. You know why? It'll come back. I just hooked up a couple of friends of mine. They're in their 30s. Their dream has always been into real estate. I had a sandwich the other day, y'all. True story in St. Cloud. I walked in there, didn't know anybody in the sandwich shop. There were 3 people eating sandwiches. So your Rocky Samurai boy needed a sandwich, right? I'm human. So somehow, somebody across the restaurant way, he and I start talking about Alabama football. I don't know. Well, you know that if you give someone like me a break, I'm coming like Herschel Walker. And dude, the true story, 30 minutes later, I've got his phone number. He did not look special. I thought he was just a simple working person. Guess what? He owns many, many acres of very, very valuable land. He's my age. He's looking now with legacy eyes. So what does Rocky Samurai Boy do? I connected the gentleman with the hard assets and the remaining knowledge and years he has left on God's earth to my young friends in their 30s that are bilingual, beautiful, professional, looking for a break, stuck in 9-to-5s. They're going to make music together. And guess what? I even set it up and planted the seed so that my friend can eventually sell at a high price the whole real estate model enterprise to the younger couple at a high level at a 12-year payout. Guess what? Guess who's going to pay the bill? The company cash flow. You see what intangible creation can do, y'all? I don't want to hear excuses. You don't have money. You have intangibles, connections. I walk in there not knowing anybody. I walk out with a name and phone number. Put those intangibles together. You talk about American middle class, y'all. That's just the beginning. Y'all don't be satisfied being middle nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's just why the next thing we really need to work on now is getting a neighborhood back together.
We do. We need to, we talk about building from the inside out. I mean, that's the person, but then from there is the family, the neighbor, the neighborhood, the community, and onward and onward and onward. But I mean, that's where the whole breakdown is all of that first part. We get that first part, like you just said, build that community, get that together. Then it starts becoming its own mechanism, its own energy source, because now you're feeding off of each other and you're like-minded. And I guarantee you, everybody in your neighborhood, more or less, there may be an exception here or there, but my God, I don't care what color or religion or whatever you are. If you're living on my same street, or across the street, up and down that street, or the street behind me, or 2 blocks over, we're all thinking the same thing. I don't care what we're all individuals. Families are all families. But at the end of the day, when you sit down at the dinner table, you're having the same issues and the same conversations. It should be very easy to reach out, but keeping us closed off like this is a very big asset to us never getting what we ever fully deserve, want, or need. Yes. That's exactly what you're pointing at there. I'm curious about Ariel Herrera. Sorry, she's been on here a few times. I've recognized that name. How important is servant leadership? So servant leadership, this is a term I'm not familiar with, and I usually do a lot of investigating. So somebody's really digging into what you're talking about here, unless I'm wrong, because it makes sense. Servant leadership in high-tech industries. The whole world is changing. Help us out with this, Rocky.
Ariel, beautiful name. Great question. Servant leadership. Ariel, you hit it right there, girl. You got it. Servant leadership equals everything.
Yeah.
The only way.
What does it look like? Talk to me. What does it look like?
What a servant leader looks like is, because this is why people call me boss walking into 7-Eleven. Why? Because I'm opening the door for them. Because I have an attitude of service toward every human being, because that's what God commanded me to do, is love my neighbor as myself.
Authentic.
So, as a leader, you're going to be kept a leader by serving everybody you touch or talk to. They will feel they'll feel the lift of you pouring into them on a continuous positive flywheel. Once you get into motion, Ariel, in your company, maybe you start with your team. Maybe you're in HR. Maybe you're in communications. Start with your little inner office squad. Get love and empathy, gratitude flowing back and forth. Open ideas. There are no wrong ideas. Failure is good. Get to something that works. Once you get to clicking, if you're the CEO, you need to do it real quick, because CEOs are really going to be like, the lifespan of a CEO, y'all, is going to be quite tenuous. It's going to be very similar to that of being a coach in the SEC. You've got maybe 1 or 2 games. Come on. So serve. Look what Jesus did, y'all. Remember when he washed the feet? Remember what Peter did? Peter fought that, didn't he? What happened? Oh, Peter wanted a whole bath. You got to wash each other's feet, figuratively, mentally. Y'all, and do this, please. If y'all see somebody at the street corner asking for money, give them a $5. Come on now. They could be in need. Yes, there are some scammers out there. But what breaks my heart is we've got billions for these damn wars, and I got some brother or sister needing some groceries. So break them off a $5 in love. Tell them God told me to do it. Go on with yourself. Get a protein bar, get a milkshake, and be fortified.
All right. I love that. We've only got a couple of more questions here, and they're kind of developing around the same theme that we're talking about here.
Oh, but Kobe's got a good one.
That's exactly why it's kind of taking the last question up another level, and I'm loving it. Why don't you read Kobe's question, because I know you're as excited as I am.
You got a cool name too, man. Kobe Omanaka.
He does.
That's a badass name. Kobe's a
really
badass to begin with.
Look at his look, man. He's got a great look going on.
You got some shoes to come on up in. You got some shots to hit. You ready for this, Kobe? What's the most effective way to drive culture change in organizations? I love the question, Kobe. Let me help you rephrase it in today's world. I want Kobe to be thinking in terms of culture creation. You see the shift?
Okay.
You see the shift? When you say the word drive, that is a domineering word. That belongs in the 19th century with the colonialists. That involves with the slaveholders, people wanting to put other people down. That reminds me of some slow-ass CEO who wants to keep his or her job because they're lazy. No, you're not driving nothing. You're creating. You're creating. It starts, Kobe, in the mirror in the morning and at night. Before you go to bed, you're going to get with the head coach. Thank you, God, that you love me and have my back. That means everything. That means your child can run in the fields with joy. Guess what? Kobe turns into a satellite radiating. There were portions of the Bible, y'all, go back and read it. Literally, this happened, if you believe in the record, where people would have been around Jesus or some of the prophets that would glow, y'all, physically from being around that energy. Kobe, that's what you're going to become. You're going to have so much enthusiasm, quiet, so much love, empathy, gratitude to put onto people that you're going to create a new Kobe. Kobe can't help, just like Rod poured on me early in the show. By the time I got on here, I felt so good. I felt like streaking down the street. Now, y'all, what that means is back in the 70s, we went crazy when gasoline got expensive, so people will run naked in public. I almost felt like streaking. That good, y'all. And that's crazy, right? But Cody, you're going to become so magnetic. You're going to have an effective glow. Now, what if any corporate leadership is listening, hit me up. Go to my Substack. I'm giving 90% of my wealth generation ideas out at zero cost. Why? Because that's what God wants us to pour into ourselves, especially our younger people or older people who need a second wind, who might have just been laid off. They need to hear this word that God loves them, has their back, and it's time for them to rise. Every evening in the mirror, Kobe, I'm sorry, you're looking and you're saying, thank you, Lord, and I love me too. By God, Kobe, you love yourself, son. Look out. They're going to call you boss when you go to 7-Eleven. So right. You want to create, Kobe. You're not driving anything. Eventually, you'll have a driver for your Escalade because you'd be reading the Financial Times for fun when you could have got it on the internet, sipping coffee. You're creating. God created people. He created men and women as co-creators. This is why we ain't middle nothing. Yeah, we do need a middle class, but guess what, y'all? It's all there for you. Get it. Go get it.
Yeah, bless whoever's in your background. Tell her I said bless you. Oh, by the way, put your Substack in there. I forgot to tell you. We're getting close to the last question here with Kathy. Kathy's back on again. Go ahead and write that in there while I'm setting you up with this question with Kathy.
Yes. I believe it's Rocky Haag at Substack.com. Yeah, would that sound right?
Yeah. It does sound exactly right. Mine, ours is Insights Straight Talk Substack. Hold on, let me look at it. Make sure it's.
Is it Rocky? Doggone it, y'all. See, I'm an arts and science. Look at me go. Should I put a dot under? It's Rocky Haag at
Substack.com, right?
Yes, I believe so. That's it, y'all. Look me up. Search me up.
All right, and that's the best way to get a hold of you. While you're finishing that off, Kathy's back. Kathy, she was early on. Beautiful picture here, Kathy. Love your hair. Thanks for sharing. How do you balance tech innovation with leadership values? And I mean, some of this goes back to where it should have been or should always be, but there's a lot of tech differences, and there's a lot of younger people that are in that management area when it comes to tech versus older people used to be. So I imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of changing of the way things are done. But I love her question here. And first of all, she says, thank you for sharing. And thank you. I appreciate it, Rocky. It's valuable. I told people they're gonna walk away with things today that really, okay, perfect. Gotcha. Substack. So in Kathy's question here, again, thanks for sharing. How do you balance tech innovation with leadership values?
Guess what, Kathy?
You were talking about this earlier on, so I think this is perfect to wind up with.
Kathy, you merge them. Never forget who you are in technology. This is one of the problems we have in our society today. First of all, y'all, everything you see when you walk down the street right now, every building, you go to your downtown, y'all, it may as well be the Matrix. Every building is going to have to answer what value they're giving people. I don't care what they did last year. I don't care what they did last quarter. Are you kidding me? What'd they do for you today? They're going to answer. They're going to answer. They're going to zero. They're going to be below zero. So, Kathy, never forget what your values are with the innovation. Y'all, we're weaponizing AI for reignition of the American dream. We're doing it here today in Catalyst in real time. So you are the child of God. He's got your back. You're curious as a cat. You're lapping up knowledge like milk every 3 feet all the time in conversation. Hell, you get a sales call. Listen, you may learn something. You might get a new customer. Watching a commercial, that may give you an idea. You people on this show right now, you are the future. Stop being intimidated by title, buildings, how many employees they have. They fly around in a jet plane. So what? I got people around that communicate with me at the speed of light. Come on. So stay who you are, Kathy. Your values are everything. The problem we have in America today is we do have some evil ass corporations with AI, some of them fighting wars now, making money off of killing people. And I'm going to call them in love. I have on Substack. In love, I'm calling them to repent and do first works. They will give an answer one day before the head coach on the talents they utilize. They could be making products to better humanity instead of having humanity annihilate itself. We got millions dead over there in Europe. We got companies that the bigger the body count goes, the stock price rises. Something ain't damn right. This is part of MAGA 2.0. This is why the next man or woman, and I think it may be a woman president. You know why, y'all? Because women have built into them, in my mind, God beautifully designed women to, at some point, when a line is crossed, guess what? It's go time. Yeah. She may have nothing but a damn pencil. She's coming after you because you're doing wrong. And men will just get quiet and take the dole, take the cash infusion, pretend they're a Republican. They'll try to get up close. They'll try to pretend to be a Donald Trump. There's only one OG. Praise God, he's pouring out his life for everybody, whether you know it or not. He's doing good. But there's people getting up next to him trying to get his power. You can't get his power. His power is coming from the ethos of America. That now belongs to me and you and us.
Yeah. All right, brother. Why don't you give a great discussion? Why don't you wait for me back in the green room? Same rules apply. Give all your fans here a really big wave as I wrap up everything. This has been fabulous. We got to talk about maybe doing another one here. But give everybody a wave. Say bye, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Y'all get excited.
That was perfect, man. That was a great show. We are now at 1 hour and 50 minutes, and it just flew by. And the questions are, as always, are great. Rocky, I got your question up here on the board. I've got your website, Rocky Haag rockyhaag.com, and then you've got Rocky Haag at substack.com. Same with us. We're Inside Straight Talk at substack.com. I think it's on the thumbnail on today's show, if I remember right. Should be on there. And then, of course, we're going out live. We're going out to Facebook. Today, we're going out to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Instagram, and then, of course, we do 3 Substacks a day. I'm starting Friday. I may actually show it on Friday. I've got Simon from eLeaf Lab, which is one of the educational programs we're working with on the Regeneration School Project, pilot program here in Mangum to change the school system. It's a really important work, and it came out of Emma Lynn and Grandpa Rod on Saturdays. That show we do, as you guys know, my 16-year-old granddaughter. She's the first granddaughter, Rocky. I told you about the second granddaughter who's came 14 years later. But Emma does the show with me on Saturdays. We've done 10, 12 episodes, I think now. And out of that came Voices at the Table, which is about teens getting a voice, learning their voice, learning a lot of different things. Look it up. Look at the Saturday show. They're very interesting. They go in the same theme that Rocky's talking about today. And then Friday is we're focused on the show coming up on the Regeneration School project. So there's a lot of really great things going on. Today was just another one of those evidence points when we sit back and we look at the information coming to us. We're all smart people here. And that information that's coming in is giving a message that we have enough experience and enough open brain width to be able to say, this fits in. I like this, or let me ask about this. Rocky, clarify what you mean by that. And as we do each of these things and connect these dots and make these moments and serve these points, we as a human species take that next step forward. And as Rocky's pointing out here very diligently and very impressively, I was looking at this message being a slightly different turn, but I'm really impressed at and excited. More than impressed. Impressed is fun. Excited is possible. And what I'm seeing here is the shift. And my son on a show we've done together, Brandon, he and I have talked about this a little bit. And one of those things, the jobs are going to shift and the responsibilities in life are going to start shifting. And that's where Regeneration School project comes in, because we're learning new things. There's a whole story to go into that. I won't bother you guys with it today. But join our Substacks, join our communities, join the efforts that really bring where we are going another step faster and further ahead, because we need to have, Rocky said it, we need to have the communities back together. That is the core. I'm in rural America. I've lived in Chicago, LA, all over the world, really, and always in big cities. The smallest city or town I ever lived in was like 50,000, but it was surrounded by 100,000, 85,000, 250,000. So there was a million people roughly near me in the suburbs of Chicago. So living in this new environment, being in a rural community is one, fulfilling as hell, is another adventure, another level of life that I always like to be curious about and take in. But what it also does is it gets you to see, what's going on at a base level and be able to start here. We join this community because it's small enough to be manageable, this pilot program here, but it's also enough to be able to be scalable across the country. One community, one conversation at a time. As always, I ask you to wait until the end. Right after the outro video, I try and do something goofy, and then I'll say bye to Rocky, and we'll get ready for tomorrow's next show. It's going to be an interesting show tomorrow. So with that, I am your host of Insights and Straight Talk. My name is Rod Duff, and don't you forget it. As always, I love to be here, but at the moment.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here, and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.